the Division franchise has actually really grown over time now, guys. This is becoming kind of a fan favorite for a lot of people who are fans of Ubisoft and a lot of their IPs. This is a franchise that's starting to really grow in popularity, and it really started with the first Division and it moved into the Division 2. Now the question is, guys, it's pretty premature, but I think it's something that we should definitely discuss and at least get a conversation going, is will we see a Division 3? So the Division 3, guys, a game that you kind of wonder, are they going to round out the trilogy? I mean, are they going to go way beyond 3 games? You would think with the success they're having at this current time, why wouldn't they make a Division 3? Because Warlords of New York, that actually came out, guys, not too long ago. I mean, we're talking, this was an expansion of the game that came out pretty much in March 3rd of this year, and a lot of people enjoy it. You know, it's got kind of like those mixed reviews, but I would say it's probably a little bit above average reviews for Warlords of New York, and there's a number of people that really enjoy it. And then, of course, guys, as far as the reception is concerned for the Division 2 as a whole, it got, you know, pretty much 80s out of 100, which is pretty good. Some different reviewers actually gave it even higher than that being like Game Informer and GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10, which is really good, obviously, for the Division 2. So I don't believe that the sales were quite as good as the first game, but that there were, you know, obviously it didn't meet Ubisoft's expectations as far as sales are concerned, but it still sold quite a pretty big number, guys, of copies. Let's put it that way. It sold a lot of copies, so you would think to yourself that there probably will be a Division 3. So, will we see it, and I guess when will we see it? Most likely we're going to see it, guys, at some point, but I think that what they need to do at Ubisoft is kind of take their time, in my opinion. When we talk about these franchises that, you know, like Ubisoft, when they find a really good, you know, franchise to work on, and they find success there or significant success, they have a tendency to start making way too many games too quickly, like Assassin's Creed, for example, making just so many games, a game every single year, treating it like it was a Call of Duty, and it's not Call of Duty, obviously, and so Assassin's Creed actually started really struggling to a lot of the casual fans of the fan base. Well, you don't want that to happen with the Division. And so I think what needs to happen is they need to work on a Splinter Cell title next. They need to bring out, you know, Watch Dogs Legion, Rainbow Six Quarantine. I would love to, you know, obviously the next Assassin's Creed. I'm excited to see where they go with that franchise as well. But take your time with the Division 3. I think that we're going to see another Division game. And for those of you who are huge fans of the franchise, I don't think you need to worry about not seeing this game return at some point. I think Ubisoft does need to take their time, though. Really start, you know, because you don't want this game and this franchise to start getting stale. The one thing that I've kind of thought to myself, guys, that has kind of held back the Division games up to this point is that it's pretty much only a multiplayer experience. There's no single player experience, and it's, you know, and I think that kind of hurts the title a little bit. I always thought that this really seemed like a game that could be primed for a really fun story campaign. And even, you know, of course, like co-op modes and, you know, multiplayer modes, of course, as well. But I think, like, this really was a franchise that I feel deserves a story mode, and it never got that. So I'd like to see them maybe kind of take an approach in the third game to kind of start adding a story to it. Even if it's just like operator missions or something, adding more to it that we can kind of connect with the franchise continuously. Look, I think the Division, the first game, did really well, and it blew expectations, and a lot of people really thought it was really a cool concept. The second game, I think it was really hyped, but it was almost a little bit overhyped, and then the sales weren't as good, and the reviews were, in my opinion, the reviews were really good for this game. But it just didn't sell as well as Ubisoft thought it was going to. So I think right now they're going to kind of take a step back. They're going to work on expansions for the Division 2. They should do that, I think. They need to continue bringing out expansions for this game. So there's more and more content for us to be able to play and enjoy throughout the course of the Division 2's lifespan. And then the Division 3 should not even be a thought, for the developers, at least for a few years, in my opinion. I think they need to bring out some other games, give the Division a little bit of a rest for a moment, because if you start oversaturating or you're just trying to pump out way too many of these games, it's going to, number one, it kind of divides the fan base between different games. And then on top of that, it's just, there's oversaturation. And this is a game that kind of has taken things from Watch Dogs, or it's taken things from Assassin's Creed or Rainbow Six, or a lot of these games that are Ubisoft titles have kind of taken things from one another, and there's nothing wrong with that because these are great games. But I think that I just feel like there needs to be a space here between the Division 2 and the Division 3. And I would say maybe even more so of a gap than between the first one and the second one, in my opinion, so that they can work on other stuff, but they also can really come out with some really fresh ideas for the Division 3 that could really progress the franchise further. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, though, guys. I know it's very premature to be talking about the Division 3 at this point, but with the failed, success, even though it's not a failure, obviously, by any stretch, but to Ubisoft, it was failed expectation in their eyes. Do you think we'll see the Division 3? And if we do see it, which I think all of you should be feeling confident that we will see the Division 3 at some point or another, when do you want to see it? Would you rather see it, pretty far down the road, or would you rather see it relatively sooner rather than later because you either don't like the Division 2 or you want to see a continuation sooner rather than later? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And for more The Division 3 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.